Empty friends, trust your instincts. Don't get caught in the trap of overanalyzing or second-guessing yourself. When he contacts you, take a step back, breathe, and pay attention to what your intuition is telling you. It's not about making rash decisions. It's about making decisions that align with your true self, your values, and what you deserve in a relationship. When you do that, you'll feel more empowered, more in control, and more confident in your choices. Understanding intuition is one of the most powerful and underrated tools you have at your disposal when navigating relationships. Intuition is often described as that inner voice, gut feeling, or hunch that guides us, even when logic and reason seem to fail. It's an inherent part of being human, an instinctual ability to sense things without needing concrete evidence. But so many of us overlook or dismiss it, especially when emotions are involved. We live in a world that constantly encourages overthinking and second-guessing. Whether it's advice from friends, social media, or societal norms, there's always pressure to analyze every situation to its most minute detail. But here's the catch. Intuition works best when we stop overcomplicating things. Your gut feeling doesn't need to be dissected or explained. It simply is. And sometimes it's the most reliable source of truth you can tap into. In the context of relationships, intuition is the internal radar that helps you determine if something feels right or if something's off. It may manifest as a sense of unease when something doesn't sit well with you, or it could show up as a feeling of comfort and ease when things align. Many times, your intuition will send you signals before your rational mind has had time to catch up. You may not always have the logical reasons for feeling a certain way, but that doesn't mean your intuition is wrong. In fact, it's often your intuition that sees the bigger picture, especially when emotions and attraction cloud your judgment. Learning to trust this inner voice takes practice, and it requires tuning into your emotions and body. Have you ever felt a sudden discomfort in your chest or a knot in your stomach when something didn't feel right? That's your body giving you a clue, a physical response to what your intuition is telling you. It's important to recognize these signs because they often carry more truth than we realize. In moments of doubt or uncertainty, your body can be the first to alert you that a situation or person is not aligned with your values or desires. One of the main reasons people struggle to trust their intuition is because they believe it conflicts with rational thought. However, intuition doesn't replace logic, it complements it. When you trust your gut, you're simply acknowledging that there is more at play than just facts and reason. There are emotions, experiences, and subtle cues that your mind may not fully process at first, but your intuition picks up on. It's like having a sense that something isn't right without knowing exactly what it is. Over time, the more you listen to your intuition, the better you get at recognizing these subtle signals, and you learn to make decisions that feel more authentic and aligned with who you are. In relationships, this means that trusting your instincts can help you avoid unnecessary heartache. When something doesn't feel right, even if you can't pinpoint exactly why, your intuition might be guiding you to step back and reassess. It may lead you to recognize red flags you'd otherwise ignore. On the other hand, when everything feels easy, genuine, and comfortable, your intuition will encourage you to lean in and explore further. This deep internal wisdom is always there, waiting for you to trust it. The next time you're faced with uncertainty, whether it's a message from someone you're interested in or a situation that feels off, listen to that gut feeling. Your intuition is a powerful ally that, when trusted, can guide you toward healthier, more fulfilling relationships and protect you from unnecessary mistakes. Overanalyzing is one of the most common mistakes people make, especially when it comes to communication in relationships. It's easy to fall into the trap of scrutinizing every message, gesture, or word someone sends your way. And this tendency can lead to a lot of unnecessary stress and confusion. When we overanalyze, we're often attempting to find hidden meanings or secret intentions behind every little action, sometimes seeing things that aren't even there. While it's natural to want clarity and understanding, overthinking can create more confusion than it solves, and it can also cloud your instincts and judgment. The issue with overanalyzing is that it often leads to second-guessing yourself. When you dissect every word and try to interpret its meaning, you might start to question things that in reality were perfectly simple. For example, if someone sends you a short message, you might wonder, is he not interested? Did I say something wrong? Does he not care about me? These thoughts can spiral, making you feel uncertain, anxious, and even insecure, when the reality might be far less dramatic. A short message doesn't necessarily mean disinterest. It could simply mean that person is busy or prefers brief communication. But when you're overanalyzing, you're reading into it too much, allowing your worries and insecurities to take over your mind. Overthinking also makes you focus on the wrong things. Instead of being present and paying attention to how you truly feel, you get caught up in trying to decode signals that may not even exist. It can prevent you from noticing the things that actually matter, like whether the person is treating you with respect, whether their actions align with their words, or if the relationship is progressing in a way that feels right for you. Rather than focusing on how their messages make you feel emotionally, overthinking pushes you into a mental loop, constantly analyzing the why and how of every interaction. Another aspect of overanalyzing is that it makes you rely too heavily on external validation. When you dissect every word or action, you're often searching for reassurance that the person is as interested in you as you are in them. This can leave you in a position where you feel dependent on someone else's words or behavior to define your worth, rather than trusting your own feelings and self-assurance. It's important to remember that your value doesn't fluctuate based on someone else's messages. When you learn to trust your instincts and emotions, you start to let go of this need for external validation and become more confident in your own decisions and sense of self. One of the worst consequences of overanalyzing is that it can prevent you from living in the moment. Relationships, whether they are new, established, or somewhere in between, are meant to be experienced. When you're stuck in a cycle of overthinking, you miss out on the natural flow of the connection. You're too busy questioning every interaction to fully enjoy the time you spend with someone or to truly understand how you feel about them. Overanalyzing prevents you from being present and experiencing the relationship as it unfolds, leaving you disconnected from your true emotions and the joy of the connection itself. How can you stop overanalyzing? The key is to trust your feelings in the moment instead of getting stuck in your head. Rather than endlessly dissecting every little thing, take a step back and focus on how the situation or the person makes you feel. Are you feeling anxious, unsure, and stressed? When you stop overthinking and trust your instincts, you free yourself from the cycle of doubt and create space for clarity and confidence in your decisions. Recognizing red flags in relationships is an essential skill that can save you from a lot of unnecessary heartache and confusion. When you trust your instincts, you become more attuned to subtle signals that something might not be right, even if you can't fully explain why. These red flags can manifest in many ways, whether through inconsistent behavior, mixed signals, or a lack of clear communication. And often they show up long before your logical mind has had the chance to process the situation. By learning how to recognize these red flags early on, you empower yourself to make better choices and avoid situations that could ultimately harm your emotional well-being. One of the most common red flags is inconsistency. When someone's actions don't align with their words, it's often a sign that something is off. If someone says they're interested in you, but their actions show otherwise, like delayed responses to your messages, canceling plans last minute, or only reaching out when it's convenient for them, this inconsistency can indicate a lack of genuine commitment or effort. Your intuition might start picking up on these mixed signals before you even realize it. If you're feeling unsure or confused about where you stand with someone, it's often because their actions are sending conflicting messages. Instead of ignoring these feelings, it's important to trust them and take a step back to reassess the situation. Another red flag is a lack of transparency. Healthy relationships are built on open and honest communication, but when someone keeps things hidden or refuses to share important details, it creates an environment of uncertainty. If someone is vague about their intentions, avoids deep conversations about the future, or isn't open about their past, this can be a sign that they're not fully invested or willing to be vulnerable. Your intuition will likely sense that something is being kept in the shadows, and it's important not to dismiss these feelings. A person who truly values you and the relationship will be willing to share themselves with you, allowing trust to grow and deepen over time. Another key red flag is when someone's behavior makes you feel uncomfortable or disrespected. This could range from subtle actions like ignoring your boundaries or belittling your opinions to more serious issues such as manipulative behavior or emotional abuse. It's easy to dismiss these actions, especially when you're emotionally invested in the person, but your gut feeling can often alert you to these harmful dynamics long before you consciously recognize them. If you feel like your needs are being ignored or your boundaries are being crossed, trust that discomfort and take it seriously. The longer you allow someone to overstep your boundaries, the harder it becomes to reclaim your sense of self-worth and respect. It's also essential to pay attention to the way someone makes you feel about yourself. A healthy relationship should lift you up, making you feel valued, loved, and supported. If someone is constantly putting you down, questioning your self-worth, or making you feel inadequate, this is a major red flag. People who respect you will encourage your growth and success, not diminish your confidence or make you second-guess your ability. If your instinct tells you that you're not being treated the way you deserve, don't ignore it. Your worth is not defined by someone else's treatment of you, and it's important to listen to your inner voice when it's telling you that something is wrong. Recognizing these red flags early on allows you to make decisions that protect your emotional well-being. By trusting your instincts and taking a step back when something doesn't feel right, you can avoid getting too emotionally entangled in situations that may ultimately be unhealthy for you. Remember, your intuition is there to protect you. It helps you see past the surface level charm and focus on what really matters, how you feel in the relationship. By honoring your instincts and addressing red flags head on, you take control of your emotional health and create space for more genuine, fulfilling connections. Self-worth and boundaries are essential components of healthy relationships, yet they are often overlooked or compromised when we find ourselves emotionally invested in someone. When we trust our instincts, we are more likely to maintain a strong sense of our own value and respect the boundaries that keep us emotionally safe. Unfortunately, it's easy to lose sight of our self-worth, especially when we feel the desire for love and connection with another person. We may end up tolerating behavior that doesn't align with our values or putting up with things that diminish our sense of self-respect. However, when you trust your instincts, you have the power to prioritize your well-being and ensure that your relationships are built on mutual respect and understanding. One of the first steps in trusting your instincts is to recognize and honor your boundaries. Boundaries are the limits we set to protect our emotional, mental, and physical well-being. They are unique to each individual and reflect what feels comfortable or uncomfortable in a relationship. Often, we fail to set clear boundaries because we fear rejection or conflict, or because we are afraid of pushing someone away. But respecting your own boundaries is not about creating distance. It's about ensuring that your needs and values are respected and that you don't compromise your sense of self for the sake of someone else's comfort or approval. When you trust your instincts, you'll be able to identify when a boundary has been crossed and act accordingly, whether that means communicating your needs or stepping away from a situation that doesn't feel right. One of the most important aspects of self-worth is understanding that you deserve respect, kindness, and love simply because you are worthy of it. This isn't based on how much you give to others or how much someone else finds you attractive. Your worth isn't defined by someone else's behavior or actions. It's intrinsic. Trusting your instincts allows you to recognize when someone is treating you in a way that doesn't align with the respect you deserve. It's easy to ignore the subtle ways someone might undermine your self-worth, whether through passive-aggressive comments, inconsiderate behavior, or lack of acknowledgement. However, your gut feeling will often alert you when you are being undervalued. Trusting this feeling means not allowing others to treat you in ways that make you feel small, dismissed, or less than. It's also important to remember that maintaining strong boundaries isn't about building walls around yourself, but rather about creating healthy spaces where mutual respect can thrive. When you trust your instincts, you learn to communicate these boundaries clearly and assertively, without fear of being misunderstood or rejected. Setting boundaries is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of self-respect and emotional maturity. It ensures that you protect your peace and emotional health while still remaining open to positive, healthy connections. People might try to push against your boundaries, whether intentionally or unintentionally. They might try to convince you to ignore your needs for the sake of keeping the peace, or out of a desire to get their own needs met. This is where trusting your instincts becomes even more important. If something feels wrong, or if you're being asked to sacrifice your values or comfort for someone else's gain, it's crucial to listen to your inner voice. Your instincts will help you recognize these red flags early on, allowing you to reinforce your boundaries and avoid situations that can lead to emotional exhaustion or self-doubt. Trusting your instincts and maintaining your boundaries is about showing yourself the love and care you deserve. When you respect yourself enough to honor your own needs and stand firm in your beliefs, you invite others to do the same. Healthy relationships are built on the foundation of mutual respect, understanding, and appreciation for one another's individuality. By trusting your instincts, you empower yourself to create relationships that are grounded in trust and respect, where both people feel valued and safe. Emotional awareness is a crucial aspect of trusting your instincts, especially when it comes to relationships. Often our feelings serve as powerful indicators of whether a situation or person is a good fit for us. However, emotional awareness goes beyond simply recognizing how we feel. It involves understanding the underlying reasons for those emotions and how they influence our decisions. When we become more in tune with our emotions, we can make more informed choices that align with our true desires and needs, rather than acting impulsively or allowing external factors to cloud our judgment. Emotional awareness helps you recognize the difference between instinctual feelings and emotions driven by fear, insecurity, or past experiences. For instance, you might feel anxious or uneasy when you meet someone new, but that doesn't always mean that person is wrong for you. Sometimes those emotions are tied to past experiences or insecurities that are not a reflection of the present situation. Emotional awareness allows you to distinguish between these types of feelings and the deeper, more genuine instincts that guide you toward making decisions that are in your best interest. When you trust your instincts, emotional awareness allows you to tune into the subtle cues your body gives you. Physical sensations such as a racing heart, tightness in your chest, or a knot in your stomach often accompany certain emotions like anxiety, discomfort, or excitement. These physical sensations can be signals that something feels right or wrong in a situation, but it's important to pay attention to them and process them. For example, if you feel a sense of unease when you interact with someone, that might be your body telling you that something isn't quite right, even if you can't explain why. Trusting these signals allows you to make decisions from a place of self-awareness, rather than ignoring your feelings and potentially putting yourself in a situation that doesn't align with your well-being. Being emotionally aware also means recognizing when your feelings are clouding your judgment. Sometimes emotions can be overpowering, especially when you're excited about a new connection or deeply invested in a relationship. It's easy to let these emotions take the wheel, making you overlook red flags or dismiss behaviors that don't align with your values. Emotional awareness allows you to step back, assess your feelings, and determine whether your emotional responses are based on reality or whether they are influenced by attachment or idealized expectations. By gaining clarity, you can make decisions that are more grounded in reality and aligned with your true needs. When you become more emotionally aware, you also gain a deeper understanding of your needs and desires. You can better articulate what you want from a relationship and what you are willing to accept or not accept. This understanding allows you to set healthy boundaries and avoid situations where your emotional needs are not being met. You'll also become more in tune with the dynamics of the relationship, noticing early signs of potential issues or areas where you and the other person might not be in sync. By trusting your instincts and being emotionally aware, you empower yourself to create connections that are more fulfilling and aligned with your true desires. Emotional awareness strengthens your ability to make confident decisions in relationships. When you know how you feel and understand why you feel that way, you can trust your emotions to guide you toward choices that are authentic and aligned with your values. This confidence helps you avoid second-guessing yourself or relying on external validation, allowing you to stand firm in your choices and maintain control over your emotional well-being. By being emotionally aware, you're better equipped to navigate relationships with clarity, self-assurance, and the understanding that your feelings are valid and important. In conclusion, trusting your instincts is one of the most powerful tools you can rely on in relationships. When you learn to tune into your inner voice, you gain the clarity and confidence needed to navigate the complexities of human connection. By avoiding the trap of overanalyzing, recognizing red flags, maintaining your self-worth and boundaries, and being emotionally aware, you empower yourself to make decisions that are true to your values and desires. These steps allow you to build relationships that are authentic, fulfilling, and respectful, while protecting your emotional well-being. Your instincts are not something to be ignored or dismissed. They are there to guide you toward what feels right and away from what feels wrong. When you trust yourself, you create space for healthier, more balanced relationships where both you and the other person can thrive. So the next time you face uncertainty or confusion, take a moment to pause, listen to your gut, and let your intuition lead the way. Trust yourself, and the decisions you make will reflect the love and respect you deserve.